A tube is a tube, right? Wrong. In the world of CPAP, there are tubes of various lengths, widths, features, and compatibilities, which is why we're here today to give you all the good RespShop CPAP tubing info. You're welcome. Well, hey there, I'm Ruben from RespShop. The first thing to decide when choosing a tube is whether to get a heated tube or a non-heated tube. Sometimes a heated tube isn't an option for you, as it will depend on what CPAP machine you're using. Many popular at-home CPAPs like the ResMed AirSense 10 and 11 and the Luna G3 are compatible with heated tubing. But many of the popular travel CPAPs such as the ResMed Air Mini, Breeze Z2 and the Transcend Micro are incompatible with heated tubing. So check your device, and if it isn't compatible with heated tubing, you can skip this decision and move on to the next. But if you do want to use heated tubing, you will need to use the one that matches the brand of the CPAP you are using, because the way the heated tube connects will be unique to that make of machine. In that case, there's no further tubing decisions for you to make, because heated tubing only comes in one size and length for each unit, so get that one. But wait, how can you know whether you want heated tubing when you don't know what it does? Well, here are the pros and cons of heated tubes for those that have the choice. If you use a heated humidifier as part of your therapy, the warm, moist air leaves the machine, travels through the tube, and reaches your mask. If the air in the tube is cold, the moisture condenses and forms water droplets in the tube that can then leak into your mask and get breathed in, an unpleasant situation that is called rainout. Heated tubing is designed to prevent rainout. It has a coil that runs the length of the tube, and that then plugs into the unit. When in use, electricity passes through this coil, heating the air inside the tube to keep the temperature consistent from unit to mask to avoid condensation buildup. Heated tubing is useful for anyone that uses a heated humidifier, but it is especially important for those that live in colder climates, which are more prone to causing condensation. But it isn't all benefits. Heated tubing usually is more expensive than non-heated tubing, and the coil makes it heavier and less flexible. And if you are worried about rainout but don't want heated tubing, you can try using a tubing wrap instead. This is basically a fabric sleeve designed to help prevent condensation buildup and to keep the tube from getting dirty and damaged too. It's what they used to use in the old days before they invented fancy heated tubing, and guess what? It actually still works. Okay, so let's say you are going for non-heated tubing. The next decision you need to make concerns the length and the diameter. With diameter, the standard tubes have an inner width of 19 millimeters, but slimmer tubes, also known as SlimLine tubes, have an inner width of 15 millimeters. And there are even a few tubes that come in micro size of only 12 millimeters. Now, all of these have the same connection points at the end, so will be compatible with all of the same devices. The difference is that the skinnier tubes are less heavy, so they can put less drag onto your mask, but a slimmer tube also means that the air pressure is affected. Fortunately, most modern CPAPs allow you to select the size of tubing you're using in the menu, and the machine will then automatically compensate for the change in required pressure. The final decision to make is about the length of the tube. The standard length is 6 feet, which is the length heated tubing comes in too. But you can get non-heated tubing at 8 and 10 feet long, or go the other way at 4 and even 2 feet long. The decision on length comes down to 3 factors: the position of your CPAP, how much you move in the night, and whether you use a humidifier. If you use a humidifier, best to stick with 6 feet or under to reduce the distance the moisture travels. And 6 feet is also great for CPAPs on nightstands and a sleeper that isn't overly mobile at night. That's why 6 feet is standard. It's a good all-round length. If you don't move around much and sleep near your CPAP, you might get away with a shorter hose. This will reduce the chances of the tubing getting tangled or dragged along the ground, and will make it a bit lighter on the mask as well. But if you are a particularly active sleeper, or if your CPAP machine is further away from you, it might be best to go with a longer hose. You don't want to pull on it as you toss and turn in the night and wake up to that CPAP crashing down. For those that need a longer hose, it can be helpful to invest in a tube management system as well. There are stands with hooks that attach to your bed and raise your tubing. This makes sure the tubing goes from your head up to the tube lift, around your bed and away to the machine. This can help avoid the tube getting tangled, knotted, or wrapped around the furniture as you night roam the bed. But in the end, the tube length question doesn't have to be final. If you find you need a longer hose, whether permanently or on occasion, you can get a hose extension connection that lets you string hoses together to get to whatever length you desire. You can even go over 10 feet long if you want, but again, just keep in mind that this could have a bearing in the pressure of the air that reaches the mask. Like everything in CPAP, the aim is to find what works for you. But hopefully, these pointers can make things a little easier. Shop our range of CPAP tubes at RespShop.com and get rewarded with points on every purchase. And until next time, sleep tight. Bye-bye for now.